What's happening, sports fans? Welcome back to another episode of Mom and Papa Joe. Today we're talking chuck roast. We're going to talk about how to select the perfect chuck roast to get some awesome Denver or chuck eye steaks. Let's check this out. All right, folks. So today we've got 3 chuck roasts for demonstration purposes. I'm only going to probably cut one of these. This one is frozen. I bought this one several months ago. This one I bought yesterday. Folks, this is a select. Look at the marbling. And what's great about this is this marbling, these fine flecks of fat are so soft. They're not that hard fat like you would find here in the seam. Bone in. The price for this one is $6.99 a pound, and this over 3 pounds. This one, I walked into the store about 2 weeks ago with no intentions of buying meat, but I always go by the display case in the butcher area, and this one caught my eye and I could not leave it there. It was Wagyu. Weighs almost 3 pounds, and it's actually $10.99 a pound. We're going to get these 2 out of the package. I'm going to freeze this one, put this one back in the freezer shortly, and this is one we're going to be working on today, the Wagyu. Let's take a look at it. So chuck comes from the chuck area of the primal cut, and the primal cut is one of the first cuts of a larger piece of meat before it's broken down into individual cuts. When you go to your butcher and you're looking for a chuck roast or chuck eye roast, you want to ask your butcher for a section that is closest to the ribeye. As you go towards the head of the animal, you will get less and less more ribeye area in a chuck roast. So you want that cut that's closest to the ribeye, more towards the center of the animal. And you want to ask your butcher for about 2 inches if he's able to cut it for you. Chuck eye is called chuck eye because it's kind of shaped like an eye, oblong, sort of like a football. Same thing here. Always separated by a seam of fat. Usually you have a nice chuck eye and then a Denver steak if you're closest to the ribeye. Same thing here. You want that fine marbling that I spoke of earlier, nice and soft. This is just a little partially frozen, so we're going to start cutting these out shortly. This one, bone in, I love for things like a pot roast or stews. This bone will add just awesome flavor. And folks, if you don't believe me that these can be cooked like a steak, I'm going to put a video in my top left, and I want you to check that out. I cooked a select very similar to this one, like I would a ribeye, reverse sear, and it was absolutely awesome. You can do it, but you just have to make sure that you have an extremely well marbled chuck, just like this one right here. And that one that I cooked was bone in, so you're going to want to check that out. Like I said, we're about 2 inches thick. I'm going to first cut out this portion of the eye. And then I will come back and grab this Denver. We'll just clean up just a little bit. Trooper's gonna enjoy some of these trimmings as a treat. Folks, this is gonna make some great stew meat or hamburger meat, whatever you choose. You're definitely not going to waste it. All right, folks, so here we are. Our little stack of trimmings. I'm going to clean these up for my pooch. And then we've got some awesome either hamburger, grind meat, or a stew meat. Man, that's beautiful. And then we've got beautiful Denver and a nice chuck eye. I'm going to dry brine these for a couple hours, and we're going to cook these today. So the dry brine is going to be pretty simple, folks. Kosher salt, and I want to get all sides. And this will go into the fridge for about, I want to say 4 hours or so uncovered on this rack. It's been about 4.5 hours, and we've been out the fridge for about 45 minutes, just coming a little bit to room temperature. We want to make sure we're nice and dry, which we pretty much are. Remember, we've got salt on here, so when it's time to season, we're going to take that into account. You can season with whatever your favorite season might be, folks. This is something that I picked up recently that I'm going to try. This is nice and chunky, not overly salty. These steaks are warmed up nicely, man. They're nice and soft. We're going to head outside and get our Weber cranked up. Our briquettes and lump are ready to rock. Got some nice garlic onion on there, smelling really good. I'm going to sear first, and then I am going to cook it on the cool side of the grill. You know I'm a fan of reverse sear. Let's get it. All right, we've given these a couple of 10 minutes to just rest up, man. They look pretty good. Interesting. The grain was pretty much vertical, pre-cooked. Now it's almost horizontal. It's strange the way this one turned. That was the Denver. The eye did not change grains anyway. But let's take a look, see how we did. Feels great. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. That looks great. And Denver. Oh yeah, I'll take that. Wow. Trying to cut against the grain. That looks delicious. Mama. Wow. Folks, that is melt in your mouth. Wow. The chuck eye. Oh, plenty of fat and juicy. Folks, I'm not going to lie. They're both good. The Denver is silkier. It's got, man, a better texture. So, folks, again, very surprised that the Denver was the better of the two. I thought it'd be the other way around. Both great steaks, both very tender, a great chew, very ribeye-like. Want to thank you guys and gals, as usual, for hanging out with Mom and Papa Joe. We really appreciate it. Be on the lookout for another video coming very soon. And as always, Mom and I want you guys to take care of yourselves, love each other, and we'll see you when we see you. Holla!